Can I finish my...
Before you answer, do you understand the question?
Members of the Court of Public Opinion, let's try to make this make sense. I am not a lawyer, but let's get right into it. So, Umnis is trying to put this point forward. Makhumalo made a statement before the identity parade, made a statement after the incident happened in her house to say the suspect who was gun wielding looked like this, and the sketch was made, and that's where Mbata was found, was part of the people or was part of the lineup, right? So now, after the lineup, Makhumalo and Longwe identified the same person, okay, and immediately after that, it looks like they made a statement to say we have identified this person, but for Mbata to be there is because of the description that the people in the house gave. And remember, when they do a lineup, this is what they say. This is the purpose, and this is the purpose of a lineup or a parade. They say it's to help identify criminal suspect by showing witness or victims or a group of people, including the suspect, and asking them to identify the perpetrator. The purpose of an identification parade is to establish the identity of the culprit, test the reliability of the witness, avoid improper influence of the witness's identification, provide corroborating evidence, and ensure the investigation is on the track. Okay, now let's listen to a brigadier explaining the whole process. I don't know, but let's listen and try to make sense of it.
Is that whilst in A12, Ms. Makhumalo mentions that the intruder who had a firearm had a dreadlock hairstyle, and she ends there. And in A58, she further elaborates on the nature of the dreadlocks, or the style of the dreadlocks that this intruder who had a firearm had. And she says she had dreadlocks that came to her jaw area. Would that not be a better description in terms of a witness who's describing a person that she saw in a particular incident?
I don't think the witnesses jaw area. I think yesterday counsel himself posted the portion where she says came up to the neck, not the jaw area.
I'm sorry, my lord, that is my mistake. Jaw and neck, to me, they look. Yes, but she says came up to that hang up to his neck. It really does make it different. But the question is, would that not constitute a better description of the person that she saw on that day?
Yes, if it was a mere additional statement seeking clarity to what was said by A12, yes, that would be a better description. However, as I've said, my lord, earlier, and if one read at A58 in its entirety, because the problem here, Advocate Mnisi only referred me to paragraph 6, which deals with the length of the dreadlocks. But if you read the statement from the top right up to the end, one will see that that statement was taken for the purpose of the ID in terms of taken on that ID parade. He bears the dreadlocks that comes to the neck, my lord. There's a photo album that was taken for that ID parade. So the essence of 58, it wasn't just to assist the police to describe the intruders. It was in relation to the ID parade that he attended, identify a person bearing number 11, because it's contained in that statement A58, and subsequently photos were taken. That was the essence of that statement. So the issue of the dreadlocks up to the neck relates to the person that he identified, and obviously places this person as one of the intruders who were there when the incident took place.
Ati-ke uma ukuthi uyasifunda sonke isitatimende lesi uzosizisa ukuthi leso statement sasingenzelwanga ukuthi amaphoyisa akwazi ukuthi azi ukuthi umuntu ubani, kodwa sasenzelwe ukuthi kubonakale ukuthi la bantu ababekhona lapha kukhomba babe abantu abanjani. So-ke lesi statement sisingenzelwanga amaphoyisa, kodwa sasenzelwe ikhomba.
Yes, my lord, that's my response. And if it needs be, I'll refer to the album that was taken, because as I said, A58 refers specifically to the person that was identified, and subsequently the photo album for that ID parade, my lord, which is marked as A72 in the docket. You can see the person that was identified by Mrs. Kletes Khumalo.
What are you even saying, Brigadier? You're saying, so Makhumalo and Longwe pointed at a person with a person who was holding number 11, of which it was Mbata. So it's a matter of mistaken identity. But their statement mentioning a person with dreadlocks and a person who's dark and who's short, hence the people who were part in that lineup. But yeah, one thing that is more mind-boggling is Brigadier relied on the photos that were downloaded from Accused 3, from Accused 3 cell phone. He relied on those photos. And he further goes on to say it's the fact that they said, people in the house, they said one of the intruders was shot. But the people in the house, yes, they said that, but they said that intruder was dark and had dreadlocks that are up to the neck, So yeah, it's real. And let's take a listen to this. This is so interesting. Listen to this.
When he went through the pictures here, on Exhibit S, Zungu confirmed that these are the dreadlocks that accused number 3 had, or this is the style of dreadlocks, braided dreadlocks, that accused number 3 had on that day in question. Before they left, that's now according to Zungu, and I'm saying, I'm not trying to validate what Zungu is saying. Before they left, and even after when they came back, he still had the same style of dreadlocks. Now, as an investigating officer, looking at Exhibit S, particularly on photo number 12, on page, I think it's page of photo number 12, may you please, on Zungu. This is what Zungu gave as a description of the hairstyle, which dreadlocks, which accused number 3 had on that day in question. Yes, as an investigating officer, when you investigated this case with a view to try and found a description or the description of the perpetrator who had a firearm on that day, you come across this picture. Zungu says to you, this is how accused number 3 looked on that day. You have this information on one hand. On the other hand, you have got the witnesses who were in the house that are saying, yes, one of the perpetrator, particularly the one that had dreadlocks, not dreadlocks, particularly the one that had a firearm, had dreadlocks, but his dreadlocks went up to his neck portion. They don't say anything about the manner in which the dreadlocks were arranged. What is it that came to your mind? Is it that you are dealing with the right suspect or somebody else? Photo number 17 gives a clearer version of the dreadlocks. Would you say that the dreadlocks as are exhibited, that are depicted in photo number 17, are similar to the dreadlocks that Miss Makhumalo talks about in her description of the suspect that she saw having a firearm in his possession when they got accosted?
No, my lord. So on this photo, my lord, the dreadlocks are clearly longer. There's no dispute about it. You can see they are longer. However, this picture and the previous picture that we saw were not taken at the same time. The accused there, accused 3, because that's my observation, my lord, is alone. In this picture is with accused number 5. And you can see the angle that the dreadlocks are longer. But if you look at the previous picture, my lord, they come up to the neck. Now, I do not know whether they were worn in the same position on the first picture and the second picture. I was not there. All I can comment on is what I see. And in these ones, they are longer. On the other ones, they are shorter. But I was not there. I can't make a statement how we wore them when these 2 selfies were taken, my lord.
This you are saying, the dreadlocks that are depicted on picture number 17 are long. But now let me quickly assist you with the dates on which these photos were taken. Let's go to page number 12. Page number 12. Assist you. This picture was taken on the 26th of October 2014.
Isithombe sathathwa ngomhla 26 ka-October 2014.
And it was taken at 17:31:14 seconds. Number 17. I think your worry was you don't know on what date these pictures were taken, whether they were taken with the same date or what, you don't know. Let me tell you. Actually, that picture tells you that that picture was also taken on the 26th of October in 2014 at 17:28:39. In other words, the time difference between these 2 pictures is only plus minus 2.5 to 3 minutes.
We submit that this question is irrelevant on 2 grounds. Firstly, accused number 3 himself concedes that it's him on those photos. It matters not, my lord, as to how one photo differs from the other. He has considered that it's him on those photos. What is the point now of splitting hairs regarding how he looks on one photo as compared to the other? That is the first point. But the second point, my lord, is clearly depends from which angle the person is viewed or the photos are taken. We therefore submit that this is not something that the witness can comment on, my lord.
Yeah, I respect the state's submission that will not be able to comment on this. Thank you.